Kosmiński University in Warsaw, and today I would like to talk to you about developing collaborative innovation network, so-called COIN, for foreign language teachers at the university where I teach and where I am the head of the language center. Here you can see our premises. We are based in Warsaw. We are a business university. We teach management, finance and accounting, law, economics, psychology in management, and we are a leading university in Central and Eastern Europe, and we are a private university. So first time I heard about communities of practice was in 2017 when I was at ATE conference, Association for Teacher Education conference in beautiful Dubrovnik. And at that conference I listened to the plenary speech by Ms. Merlin Cochrane-Smith, and she talked about communities of practice, and this idea was very appealing to me. I started to investigate this idea more in greater depth, and at that time I could learn that community of practice is a group of people in the same profession who have similar problems, who are interested in similar topics. They meet regularly to learn from each other, and this gives them opportunities for personal and professional development. At that time, most of such communities took a traditional form, and they existed in the workplace, but sometimes they also could started to exist in a virtual space. And later I learned that such virtual communities are called COINs, which stands for Collaborative Innovation Networks. And I thought that this idea was really great for development and for collaboration and for sharing, because success is rarely achieved without cooperation with others. When we work on our own, we are not as creative as we might be when we collaborate in teams. So this cooperation can become an investment in our professional and personal development. It fosters creativity. So this slogan, sharing is caring, was something that I started to like very much, and I wanted to somehow put it into practice. I wanted to create space for sharing knowledge and experience, and also a kind of springboard for teachers to become a mentor and expert. Sometimes they are not as open or brave to go to conferences and to present to others. So perhaps in this more intimate context where we cooperate with our colleagues with whom we work on a daily basis can be this moment and this place where we start to become trainers and teach other teachers. And if we are talking about these virtual communities, this definitely could contribute to development of our ICT skills. Another reason for creating such community is to maintain existing and to build new relationships within the team. So such community can be part of the onboarding process for new employees. This is the place where we can help support one another, and especially during the pandemic times, this was particularly important to meet regularly, to support one another, to sustain energy for work, but also to celebrate on different occasions, at Christmas, New Year's, say, Eve or at Easter, or to celebrate the end of the academic year. I presented at this conference here in Florence back in 2019 in person, and in fact this was the last conference I attended in person before the pandemic. And then I talked about developing web-based testing software for languages for specific purposes. This project was called the Postoka Project, and Postoka is this bird, the name of this bird in Polish. And I presented software which I created together with an IT developer, and this software is this was software which I started then using for testing my students online, also for creating a very rich resource of exercises for business English and legal English. So if you are interested, you can access this app on postoka.edu.pl, and here in this public exercises section, you will have access to almost 300 free exercises that may help your students develop their business English and legal English skills. So that project was mostly about creating software that will be just right for my needs. And the hidden agenda of that project was building a community of practice. I thought that teachers who create content for Postoka, they can share the exercises they create, and in this way they can also help one another, save time, cooperate, etc., etc. Unfortunately, at that time, so let's say back in 2018, 2019, it didn't work as efficiently as I wanted. And not many teachers started using Postoka. Maybe they were afraid of technology. They also said they didn't have time. And at the beginning of 2020, COVID-19 pandemic started, and it really helped me to build this community of practice at my university. Also, my position of the head of the language center helped me a lot, because that was I had this authority, and I could gather my teachers, my staff around me. And in Poland, we worked online for 15 months. And after the first semester, the spring semester of 2020, when we were really stressed and tired and were struggling with the new situation, after holiday, I thought this is the right moment to start our community of practice, to start our coin. And I called this coin SIC, which stands for Sharing is Caring. So on the 28th of September 2020, the first meeting of Sharing is Caring coin was held. And this was our beginning. And the topic for this first meeting was how to teach students online. And I informed the teachers in advance that on this day we are going to meet and we are going to share our experience, which we gained during the first term of online teaching. I also analyzed student surveys, and I selected some feedback on what students liked best, what students didn't like. I also conducted a survey among teachers, and one of the questions there was, if I could do it again, what would I change? And during this meeting, we shared examples of best practices, and we also talked about our well-being and our work hygiene, remembering how difficult it was at the beginning. So we wanted to start this new academic year with slightly different approach, where we really took care of our well-being. And during the academic year 2020-2021, we had several meetings. So let's say this purely sharing is caring meetings were devoted to principles and examples of good practice. This was the first one. There were 2 meetings about online testing, because this was a big challenge for the teachers to start testing online, to run exams online. And after the first meeting, I could see that there was a need for the second such meeting, and also one meeting about engaging students online, because we all struggled with this difficulty that our students were not active enough during online classes. Then we also had 3 in-house training sessions. They were conducted by our teachers. So one was about how to prepare students for the LinguaSkill exam. LinguaSkill is an online business English exam from Cambridge Assessment, followed by a Q&A session, and it was conducted by my colleague. I conducted an online training on how to conduct online TOLS exam. TOLS is test of legal English skills, and 2 Q&A sessions, which were very absolutely necessary. And we also had one on how to create and administer tests on Inspera. So Inspera is the platform that we use at my university to conduct online tests and exams. And we had one external training session on the LinguaSkill exam. Apart from these, we had, I think, 3 let's say informal meetings to celebrate Christmas, Easter, and at the end of the academic year, we met for a picnic in a park in Warsaw that was in person, but out in fresh air, so that people were not afraid to mingle and to meet. So my conclusions are that these meetings were very popular. My whole team consists of over 50 teachers, and these meetings were usually attended by around 20 to 30 people. We also recorded the meetings. We had these meetings on Teams, because we use Teams for teaching at my university. So we recorded the meetings so that teachers who could not attend could watch when they had a while. This project really inspired some of my lecturers to share their know-how. There were people who showed initiative and approached me and said, I could do a training on how to prepare our students for LinguaSkill exam. And teachers also formed smaller teams where they cooperated and started to create together tests for Inspera. So that was kind of like echoed my initial idea of working together on Postoka, which didn't work at that time, but Inspera now kind of forced students to cooperate, because that was the requirement. I required that all exams by all our language teachers were conducted on this platform. I think that this project contributed to professional and personal development of many of us, and it really enriched our relationship, and we built trust. My personal impression is that we leave lockdown more in sync. We have more relaxed relationships, and we are less jealous of our know-how, and we are happy to support. So at the beginning, and I don't know if it's just Polish quality, that we are very jealous of our know-how and we don't want to share. And I wanted to show teachers that if we share, this is not that we get rid of something only, but when I share something, there is like immediate response, and someone else shares something with me, and I increase my experience, my knowledge, my practice in this way. I asked teachers to prepare some opinions about what they thought about this project. And here you can see a Russian teacher's opinion. I bolded and changed the color to red just to highlight some keywords. So she wrote that this project integrated our team. We were all in this together. No one was left alone. We had space to share experiences. We have grown during this time as lecturers. Another opinion is from, I put it in inverted commas, old English teacher. I mean old, like she has been with us for quite a long time. And the key words here that this was to share opinion, to build relationships. We the mutual support, cooperation allowed us to take care of our emotions. We learned from each other. We quickly felt an integral part of the team. This was about the new people, and you felt that you were not alone. And opinion from a new teacher, someone who joined our team during the pandemic, and we've never met in person. I have only talked to her on the phone before she started teaching with us. And she said that these meetings gave her opportunity to get to know the team, to be part of this team. She appreciated not only these methodological meetings, but also those integrating us, and she quickly felt part of the team. So that was really interesting, that a lot of these new teachers, they joined these meetings, they were active during these meetings, and they were not afraid to ask questions. So I think this formula that these meetings were rather, we had this relaxing atmosphere, and we used our first names, and we quickly started, they helped us to get to know one another, was a good choice. So we could exchange ideas. This was valuable, and it helped her to avoid mistakes, because when she joined, she didn't know simply how we work, what our requirements are, etc., etc. So in the last slide, I share some references if you are interested in this topic. In red, you can see the surname Wenger. I think this is a good starting point. You can watch some YouTube videos where Mr. Wenger presents, talks about communities of practice, and read more. Under these links, you can find some publications. So keep in touch. You can find me, or you can contact me on my email at Kosminski University. You can also find me on LinkedIn. You can also check what Postoka has to offer. And thank you very much for your attention. I hope I've inspired you to create perhaps a community of practice, or just to share your knowledge and your best practice. Thank you and goodbye.